What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with a special request. And indeed, I'm going to put this one in the Lucky Dip folder. Big shout out to Herman, a great friend of the channel, has shared a number of things, very patient as I go through requests and different deep dives for some of the things that he's been waiting for. So big shout out to you. And this is a tune that is primarily by Rag & Bone Man, an artist title I do enjoy. I'm not familiar with the artist, but if you didn't know, Rag & Bone Man, it's an occupation, sort of a lifestyle / occupation that goes back at least to like Victorian England, probably before that. It's referenced in Dickens' Christmas Carol, among other places, but it's someone who, through scavenging, through bartering and trading, through collecting things that maybe no one else sees value in, is able to acquire a network of resources, both material and human, who allow him to operate off the grid or below the official economic system, and again, whether exchanging things for coin or trading or indeed bartering. It's someone who is not at the top shiny end of the socioeconomic spectrum, but one who is getting by and who is again resourceful and knowledgeable in areas that other people perhaps just walk past or don't know much about. So I enjoy that title as an artist name. Nevertheless, I think the real attraction here is Pink, and indeed I think Herman said this is one of his favorite Pink tunes, or songs where she appears. And ultimately, I should mention, I know Pink through reputation. I've heard a couple of her tracks, and in fact it spurred me to message a great friend of the channel, Mark, and he was saying, I think that he knows more about her earlier stuff, and recently he hasn't followed her as closely. I know she has a very big following and reputation, but yeah, I heard Trustfall and What About Us, both of which I think are more recent. It was at my work. On the day where I get to pick the stereo, I pick Cyndi Lauper Radio on iHeartRadio, and they play a lot of 80s stuff, especially female-led or artist 80s stuff, but also some stuff more recent. And I heard those tunes, and I was like, that sounds interesting. Maybe I should, start cautiously, get my feet wet with a Lucky Dip reaction to some of her music. So this seems like a perfect, request coming in the wake of that, conversation and thought process. So the tune itself is called Anywhere But Here, or Anywhere Away From Here, sorry. And it's from the Rag & Bone Man album 2021, Life by Misadventure. I do like that phrase as well. But yeah, Anywhere Away From Here suggests that the current place, whether more literal or conceptual, is untenable. It is unsustainable. It has reached a point where it is negative, such that any other location, again, more straight away or more figurative, is preferable, is desirable in comparison to what the situation is now and here. So, I'll see what I can pick up on a first listen, but if that is the case, then if someone would rather be anywhere but where they are, it sounds like a tough spot. So let's see what I can listen to or pick up on a first listen, if I can speak correctly. This is Rag & Bone Man from his 2021 album Life by Misadventure, and it's the tune is called Anywhere Away From Here.
Wild and running, fearless, this is burning bright. We knew nothing was out of sight, it's out of mind. Before we ever learned the fear of being bold, before we ever were afraid of the unknown. When the lights go up, I don't think I told you, I don't think I told you that I feel out of place. Pull me underground, don't know if you notice. Sometimes I close my eyes and dream I'm somewhere. Anywhere away from here, anywhere away from here.
frozen, we lost control with more doubt than hope. Glass half empty and discontented from growing old. Through all the failed attempts at trying to belong, I overthink the obvious when I'm alone. But when the lights go up, I don't think I told you, I don't think I told you that I feel out of place. So pull me underground. Don't know if you notice, sometimes I close my eyes and dream of somewhere else. Anywhere away from here, anywhere away from here, anywhere away from here.
Oh, when I close my eyes. Oh, when I close my eyes. I wish I could disappear.
When the lights go up, I don't think I told you, I don't think I told you that I feel out of place.
Pull me underground. Don't know if you notice. Sometimes I close my eyes and dream of somewhere else. Anywhere away from here. Anywhere away from here. Anywhere away from here.
Really great tune. I like that a lot. Ooh. As I spill a little tea. Thankfully, not too much. But yeah, he has a really good voice. Definitely very soulful. Like when he first came in, there's a picture of him on the cover. And I don't know necessarily what I expected him to sound like, but for whatever reason, the first line I was like, oh, like that voice wasn't quite what, I thought. Either way, I did enjoy when Pink came in as well. I like the way they both hit the lines together in the final section of the tune. I think that was my favorite part. And yeah, obviously a very soulful gospel type of vibes. Also some R&B vibes. R&B vibes, I guess I was going to say. But yeah, definitely some of the, very sensual kind of R&B feel to it as well. So I like the mixture of some related genre sounds, at least as my brain heard it, my ears and brain. And yeah, it's interesting, like the concept seemed to be basically what I was thinking. The idea, sometimes I close my eyes and I think of anywhere away from here, but I don't know, like, specifically if there's a more particular, like, push factor, like there's some aspect of what's happening that is such that, they imagine. I do get the line, like, about when the lights go up, I feel out of place. That feels like a performance thing, maybe specifically someone who's under the bright lights and who's, creatively expressing, which can surely be a joyful or fulfilling experience, but no doubt, all sorts of other emotions are involved, including pressure and stress and, trepidation and so on. So I do feel like maybe this relates specifically to people who are in the creative arts, in the performing arts, and, that perhaps, when they're in that moment, they don't always feel, comfortable and just, who they are. Again, maybe that's a misread, because I feel like, under the lights can mean a lot of different things. It could be, if you want to be pulled underground, I suppose it could be just about your life in general, that out in the world you feel overwhelmed, you'd rather be anywhere else, and you'd rather be somewhere where, it's dark and no one can see you and you're not, exposed in that way. But sometimes they talk about athletes when like if a football player, meaning soccer player, I feel like I have to specify because I'm American. But if a striker like misses a really easy chance, like, oh, he just wishes the ground would swallow him up and he could just go into a hole and no one could see him anymore. And it feels like maybe that's kind of the sentiment. So again, that sort of pushes me back to the like performing arts interpretation. Either way, I really did enjoy the vocals of Rag and Bone Man. That was a cool, and again, not that I had any real expectations on what he might sound like, but it was very impressive when he came in. So yeah, shout out to both of them. Shout out to Herman once again for sending this, for the patience, for being a longtime friend of the channel. Indeed, shout out to Mark and all the people who have been journeying with me. Journeying is a complicated verb conjugation to say. But yeah, for more than a year, in some cases close to 2, as I technically started this channel in February, but that's because like when I went to log in one time on my phone, it was like, no, you can't log in. It was like, what the heck? So I created another account just so I could like answer people in the comments. I would soon realize YouTube was like, we're gonna phase out your old channel because it's connected to an old alumni email. But it was about 2 years ago. It was like the early to middle part of March in 2022 where I started this channel. I didn't post my first video till I think like May 2nd, so it's like still a little bit away from like the real two-year anniversary of the channel. But yeah, shout out to folks who, a lot of whom have been here from the very beginning. I feel like some Depeche and Duran fans in particular, because those were some of the first non-techno, non-punk rock reactions I started doing. Tears for Fears folks as well. But you are all massively appreciated, and I do very much thank you for the patience when it comes to just going through everything, because I'm just, I suppose, relentlessly ambitious and optimistic when it comes to everything I'm trying to do. So I do appreciate the understanding on your end. Let me know what you think of this tune. I will see you next time. Peace.